go through a very interesting set of changes, lifestyle changes when they come of age. I was brought up a Hindu. Period word is still a taboo in some places, but when a girl gets her first period, it's considered as a mini marriage. When you're bleeding, you're considered impure because historically speaking, there were some scriptures and some writings out there saying that hey, the girl should not go to temples, should not be going out to temples, should be isolated. But I think it might be more in the context of women need rest during that time. I'm one of those who have really bad painful periods. Hey, women need to be, left alone, be at peace.
Well, if it's the other way where you just said it's for women to rest and recuperate from their period, like it's because it's painful, then that's a great thing.
Yeah, that's logical, right? That's what it should be.
You should be treated like a queen when you're in that stage, you know? The society bush is where they take girls and now they get you prepared for like a marriage. They're going to cut off your clitoris, right? They said because women are not to enjoy and in pleasure. Why are you enjoying it? Not for you, it's for the men. You just have that to have babies. It's so bad. I wish I didn't go through it. I'm always trying to find my point. Oh yeah, that's the right point. Just keep doing it. I'm gonna come. No, I lose it. Shit, I'm not coming. Like, oh yeah, this is a place. No. You missed it. That's not a place. This is a place. Yeah. Oh, it's so frustrating. Like in my culture, we're Muslim, and in my village, they strongly believe in women's second station.
You have no schooling. Girls have no schooling.
No.
Girls are not supposed to find any pleasure with sex.
To cook. No pleasure with sex. They train you to cook. You don't have a voice. You cannot talk. So you know how difficult it is, and then trying to come to a different country, trying to find your voice. You know how difficult it is because you're always scared to speak.
Yeah,
right?
Because you're said that you're not supposed to be heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then so you come here, they say, oh, you got to talk. I'm like, holy shit, what am I saying? When I got my period, when I remember, nobody told me anything about period. I didn't really know what to do. Hook it onto that and then put it behind your butt and it's in there. And that's what we use for your period. It worked for her and I just did the same thing.
No one talked to you.
Nobody talked to me about it. It's such a taboo.
Things my grandmom's generation was using the period cloth. I remember her saying that you guys are so lucky you have pads around, because if it's a period cloth, even when you walk, there is the friction between the thighs, you get wounds over there.
The wound right between your legs. When I friction, hey, you get off. Oh my god, there's something going on. It burns so bad, right?
Guys are getting more comfortable wanting to know about it today, which is a good thing. For instance, my periods are being tracked by my partner, and he does that for multiple reasons. One of the reasons I encourage him to do is buy me chocolates during that time. It helps my life.
My stomach hurt and my nipple hurts. When I came out of the society bush, I think I was like 13 and a half. I ran away to go to the bordering country, which is from Liberia to Ghana.
So, is Joey there? Oh, that's okay. He's fine. We have a new guest. I told you, right? That's why he wants to just get a better view of me.
And then a friend in Ghana, when I was there, a friend showed me about porn. And she said, oh my God, you are missing out.
Porn is such a bad introduction to sex. I felt that people who are addicted to porns or who watch porn constantly have such a misconstrued idea about what sex is.
I was like, what are they doing?
Did you enjoy it? What was your feeling?
I was a little bit scared. I said, oh my God, what is he doing?
Exactly.
I see the guy doing this, and then the lady on her back like this, and then on her knee like a dog. I'm like, oh my God. But then I see two women together. I said, women doing this to each other. Hi, my God. If my mom was alive right now, she would be killing me.
Watching porn also leads to the rape culture too. So the rape culture.
Well, now all porn. Some porn, they're like slow, romantic, and get you going. You're like, oh, I didn't know this part of you exists. Oh, there are people who have a master's degree in blowjob.
I hope no one 18 and under is watching this. That the Kama Sutras, right? The book of Kama Sutra I was talking about, it actually goes through different things. All you need to do is read it. That's all there is. And there's pictorial representations on how to execute it.
Let's go. Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing today? This is our second episode, and I would like to introduce you to tffaw. I'm sure you're wondering what tffaw stands for. So tffaw stands for Taste of Fashion and Food Around the World. We have an organization that is called Taste of Fashion and Food Around the World. We're really trying to reach out to a lot of community. We want to be able to reach a lot of audience. We want to be able to talk about food, traditional food. We want to be able to talk about cultural, what's the difference in different cultural, lifestyle, and being in the U.S., like there's so many different things from being home and here and just kind of finding life on your own. So we want to be able to talk about so many different topics. So when we're around the world, we reach a lot of global audience. So that is why we call it TFFW Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about sex, coming of age. What does that mean in your culture, in American culture, in other culture? What does it mean? It means so many different things to so many different people. So I'm from Guinea and Aditi is from India. Those two countries coming together and talking about coming of age, marriages, sex, and all the good fun stuff that come after that. So I would like to introduce Aditi to you, and we're gonna hop into that and give you some fun, and let's go.
Hello everyone. Super happy to be here with you, Yvette. Yvette and I know each other for the last, I think, four
Almost
years.
4 years.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I stepped into the modeling world, and almost immediately I got introduced to Yvette, obviously. And here we are, 4 years later, having a podcast series talking about the most interesting topic of all: coming of age, perception of sex. What does that mean for a person who is brought up in different cultural setups?
That's right.
I mean, most of the audiences over here might be used to the American culture just because that's where we are. I grew up in India.
And I grew up in Guinea,
Africa.
I was born in Guinea, and my dad, we moved to Liberia for him to work on the gold mines. That's just a little bit about that. So I grew up in Liberia.
And here we are representing two different countries, two different concepts of how we experienced all of these things.
That's right.
Coming of age. I'll give you a brief context around coming of age on how it happens in India before I touch upon my personal experience. India is a multicultural place. It has multiple religions and religious practices out there. Depending on the religion, coming of age story is a bit different for the individual itself. Now, for instance, even within the religion, there are multiple caste systems. So guys of a particular caste system called the Brahmin caste system within India have a coming of age ceremony called the Upanayana. That is just for that one minor section of population within India that goes through that experience. Muslims, I think, very, very similar, or kind of similar to how you might have experienced in your country, Yvette. They go through go through their ceremony differently. Christians, very different. Now for girls in India go through a very interesting set of changes, lifestyle changes, when they come of age. I was brought up a Hindu. So in my culture, what happens is when a girl gets her first period, well, period word is still a taboo in some places, but when a girl gets her first period and she starts bleeding, it's considered as a mini marriage celebration.
Really?
Yeah. So what happens is everyone gets gathered around, family, near and dear ones, and friends, they all come. They gift gold to the girl, and the girl is all dolled up, and there is this set of ceremonies where she is considered really special, that this is a very special event that happens to her. Now what happens after that? That's the question. Right? Depending on where you are. So I never had to experience what I'm gonna say right now. ideally the girl is considered impure when she's bleeding. In villages and certain areas where practices are a little more uh, rigid
Tradition,
and
religious, yeah.
traditional, there a separate area is provided to the girls who go through their periods, where
Really?
they stay there. Yeah, where they stay there, they eat there. They're not supposed to touch the utensils that other people use. They're not supposed to be in common areas. They're not supposed to sit in bed sheets. That other people might use, because it's considered impure. They're not supposed to go to temples, which is places of
Yeah.
worship. Um,
The temple is the same for us too.
yeah, when you're bleeding, you're considered impure. And I did not have to experience all of those things, except for the temple part. Maybe that was told to us that you're not supposed to step into the temple when you're bleeding. Now, here is what I think, right? I think it might be taken a little bit out of context, because historically speaking, there were some scriptures and some writings out there saying that, hey, the girl should not go to temples, should not be going out to temples, should be isolated. But I think it might be more in the context of women need rest during that time, because women go through a physical struggle. So menstruation is no easy thing. Some face hardships more than others. I'm one of those who have really, really bad, painful periods. So, you wouldn't want to go afoot to temples. You wouldn't want to do your house chores when you're going through your periods. So I think it was under that context that probably, in our Gitas and Upanishads or wherever these people read it from, has stated that, hey, women need to be, left alone, be at peace, rest there. But of course, the
But, yeah.
patriarchal twist to it, right?
Yeah, because if you say women should be on this side,
Yeah.
so you're not, because of the temple, you're not to be around other people. It just say in a different way.
Yeah.
It's like, because I'm seeing my period, so I'm that dirty. I can
Yeah.
even touch the
Yeah.
utensils
Yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
So,
That's the twist, the patriarchal twist that's added to whatever was written in history, right?
well, if it's the other way where you just said it's for women to rest and
Yeah.
recuperate from their
Yeah.
period, like it's
Yeah.
because it's painful, then that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything
It's
bad about
that's
it.
logical,
And
right?
that's great.
That's what it should be.
You should be treated like a queen when you're in that stage,
Exactly.
Rest needed. But man,
of
if you say,
chocolate.
hey, you're too dirty, you can't even touch the dishes, or you can do this,
That's
and
different.
then that's a complete different story.
That's
But
a different story.
that is a good thing if that's where it's going.
Yeah.
Yes, for us coming of age, in my culture, for the village part, like the rural area, because like I said, I'm from Guinea. My parents moved to Liberia, and that's where we grew up. But coming of age, when you turn to a certain, because at 14 you get married, right? To somebody who is already married, have 2 to 3 wives, then you're gonna be the third one. Yeah. And then before you get to that age, at 13, you go to what they call the society bush. I know you think it sounds so fancy, but it's not. The society bush is where they take girls and they get you prepared for like marriage, and preparing you in the sense that they're going to cut off your clitoris, right? They say because
No.
women are not to enjoy any pleasure. Why are you enjoying it? Not for you, it's for the men. You just have that to have babies. That's it. So there's really nothing there for you to enjoy, sex or whatever. Yeah. It's so bad. I wish I didn't go through it. Because right now I'm a grown up. I struggle. I'm always trying to find my point. Oh yeah, that's the right point. Just keep doing it. I'm gonna come. No, I lose it. Shit, I'm not
It's a sad
coming.
story.
Oh no, not that place. This area. Why can't you find the right spot? Because the only thing that left there is a scar. So that scar area is very sensitive. And then trying to find pleasure in that area, you're like, oh yeah, this is the place. No. You missed it. That's not the place. This is the place. Yeah. Oh, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
And yours is the story, not just your story, right? It's culturally
It's
happening even today.
culturally happening in
Even
our
today.
real village.
Even today, right?
Because in Africa is so big.
Yeah.
It's not every part of Africa. Like in my culture, we're Muslim, and in my village,
Yeah.
they strongly
Still
believe
going.
in women's circumcision, and you are not to be educated because you're not supposed to.
Enjoy.
Education part two is
Oh,
also in that.
you have no schooling.
No
Girls have
schooling.
no schooling.
No.
Girls are not supposed
They
to find
train
any
you
pleasure with
to
sex.
cook. No pleasure was that. They train you to cook. You don't
Yeah.
have a voice. Nobody. You cannot talk. You are not to be seen. You can. They can see you, but you're not to be heard. You cannot speak in whatever is happening,
Oh,
so you don't have your
yeah.
own voice at all, nothing.
Yeah.
So you know how difficult it is, and then trying to come to a different country, trying to find your voice. You know how difficult it is because you're always scared to speak,
Yeah.
right?
Because you
You're
said
scared.
that you're not supposed to be heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then why? And then so you come here, they say, oh, you got to talk. I'm like, holy shit, what am I saying? I don't even have my voice. I used to remember when I go places to have conversation, I would just sit and people talk. They think I couldn't talk. I don't know how to add anything there. I don't know what to say. If I say something, am I saying it right? Number one, I'm worried about my English. Number two, what am I to contribute? What am I going to say in there? I don't know what to say. And number three, oh, it's so awkward. I'm so shy. What if I open my mouth and I'm not saying the right thing? But anyway, that's a whole thing onto that.
Altogether.
But I'm just saying that whole piece of coming to getting you ready for marriage and not letting you talk about enjoying sex and not everything is such a taboo.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, right?
And
See, how different is it for a person who was brought up here, coming of age, how they experience it? It's probably just going to the grocery store, getting
Yeah.
tampon, and
Yeah.
getting that education. One thing, when you hit teenage, or when you hit that time when you're starting to menstruate, you're going through a lot of emotions,
Oh, yeah.
because you're moving away from being a child, but also getting ready to reproduce, right? You're in that stage, so you have to deal with the hormones behind the scenes and the cultural things that come along
Comes
with
with
it,
it
which
being
is the
period.
baggage.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, right? Yeah, I think I told you mentioned schooling, and that actually hit a chord. So there are places even today in India when a woman hits a period, and I'm talking in rural places, okay? A
Most of
woman
it is a
hits a
real
period.
places, yeah.
A woman hits a period. She is not expected to continue her education
At all.
at all after she hits a period, because she's a woman now, right?
Wow.
So that is prevalent even to this day. And we might see, I grew up in a social bubble where that did not apply to me, but then again, I should say that is a social bubble. That's what it is. Because 60% of India lives under poverty line, so we need to kind of have that image in mind when we're talking about this case.
Yeah.
The entire experience of coming of age. Now,
And the period thing you're talking about is very interesting too.
yeah,
Because like back home, when I got my period, when I remember, nobody told me anything about period. I didn't really know what to do. I wake up, I saw blood coming on my leg. What is this coming from? I got cut or something. I was so shy to talk to anyone about it because you're so terrified. I was so scared to talk to my mom or any family or anybody. This is happening to me. But I saw one of my cousin when she had a period. She said there was a blood coming all over me. I didn't know what to do, so I just take the cloth because we have a lot of cloth that you tied around you to take the baby, put the baby to sleep. You tie on your back. So that cloth, she just kind of cut it and then put it between her legs and put her underwear on. And sometimes we don't even have underwear. We just kind of use the cloth and then tie it on each side. It looks like an underwear. So you just kind of put it, hook it onto that, and then put it behind your butt, and it's in there. And that's what we use for your period. And then when it get wet, you take it out and wash it, dry, and you wear it back. So I just figured what she was doing, it worked for her, and I just did the
followed
same
it.
thing.
No one talked to you.
Nobody talked to me about it. It's such a taboo.
Yeah, it's a little bit different from by the time I grew up, and my mom growing up, and even my grandmom for that matter, people used to talk about it. Like, the moms used to educate the kids before they knew they would hit their periods age.
No, that's good.
So but and my generation, my mom's generation, all were using pads and all of those things. My grandmom's generation was using the period cloth that you mentioned. And I remember her saying that you guys are so lucky you have pads around, because if it's a period cloth, even when you walk, there is the friction between the thighs. You get wounds
get
over there,
the wound
right?
up between your
Yeah,
legs. It's
yeah,
all like
yeah. And imagine having to
we
go
were
through periods
lucky.
pain, and also on top of that, going through this pain when you're walking.
When that friction, hey, you get all red, but we don't get red, so that's a good thing. So there's no red. That it just you just feel like, oh my god, there's something going. It burns
It
so
burns.
bad.
Yeah,
Why is
yeah,
it burning?
yeah, yeah.
Because you can walk. You walk everywhere. You go for miles and miles to get water, miles and miles to go on the farm to get food, and then come back. So can you imagine with that between your legs, walking up and down on that?
No, I don't want to imagine. It just
Yeah.
sounds so hard, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah, the only walking I guess I have seen is walking to the pharmacy or grocery store and getting my tampons. And oh, by the way, getting the tampons is supposed to be a secret, because you know how the tampon is packed. It's never, you're not even supposed to say, okay, I need my tampon or your pads. You're supposed to point. They take it, they hide it in a round cover, and it looks like a bread from outside. Okay, they do that, and they safely secure it, and then we bring it home, because apparently what every woman goes through, including their own mothers and sisters, everyone goes through is so private. Apparently, I don't understand it to this day, but I used to live through it. I thought it was something that should not be talked about. But of course, years passed, we all overcame all of that. But yeah, that still happens today. Guys are more and more talking about it. Guys are getting more comfortable wanting to know about it today, which is a good thing. For instance, my periods are being tracked by my partner, and he does that for multiple reasons. One of the reasons I encourage him to do is buy me chocolates during that time. It helps my life. I go through very painful periods, and I'm like, I have to do my work, I have to do my chores. Getting chocolates, getting something nice always kind of puts you at ease, right? So
it's funny you said chocolate. Mine just give me hot water.
Hot water is still good.
Yeah, just give me hot water. My stomach hurts. Just give me my stomach hurt and my nipple
Everything hurts. Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't do that. And some months it just hurts so bad when I touch it with my clothes, touch it, I'm like, ooh, that hurt.
Yeah.
It's so painful. It's so painful. But
yeah, and now we go through this period journey, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to this journey where everyone gets introduced to the concept of sex. Tell me, Yvette, how were you introduced to the concept of sex?
Oh, that's interesting. Again, I was a freaking rebel. I said I'm not going. After I got out of the society bush, I did not want to get married, to do anything with that cultural. I know it's kind of sound really like rebellious, that you don't want to be part of what your family's doing, but I did not want to be part of that. So I ran away. When I came out of the society bush, I think I was like 13 and a half. I ran away to go to the bordering country, which is from Liberia to Ghana.
So you ran away from your family?
From my family, yeah.
When you were 13 and a half.
Yeah,
which
just
is
before
basically
you get
13
14 and get married. Yeah.
And you ran away from home by yourself?
Yeah, I got on the bus. The thing about, in Africa, the most of the places are all borders, right? So you can drive like a couple of days, 2 to 3 days, you'll be into one country, basically. So I left from like Liberia. That's a bus. It takes like 3 days. It's a 3 days bus, right? And I was in Ghana. So it's all bordering country. You can move from one to another. So
did you have someone in Ghana?
I did not have anybody there.
So you just chose Ghana and you just went? I chose
Ghana because I said, hey, they speak English.
Yeah.
And my English wasn't even good. I stole my mom money. However, to go there to try to find somewhere to stay, that's a whole new story. Like the life
let's not
that was
get
happening.
Into that.
We don't
okay,
even
different
it's going to be
podcast.
another time story. But yeah, so I got into Ghana and the struggle was real because no family, no money, nothing.
Wait. How did you get introduced to sex?
It took me some time, right?
Okay.
I was like in Ghana trying to find I was just not even thinking about sex.
Yeah.
Just trying to find a way how to get by.
Yeah.
How am I going to freaking get by?
Yeah.
How can I say how did I get into it? Because it was my ex-husband that brought me into the US.
Yeah.
So
he's the one who introduced you to that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so you had no family,
Nope.
no friends, no one talking to you about sex. You
Nope.
got introduced to it by who
Yeah.
you got married to,
Yeah.
basically, right?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
ex, right? Okay. So I'll tell you how I got introduced to sex. I
Ah.
never got introduced to sex. That's how it was. So when we were growing up, we were told sex is a sin, right?
Yeah.
I'm a classic textbook introvert. I have a lot of close friends. Many of you who might be watching this too, right? You too, Yvette, right? We talk about everything in the world, the hardships, the good things, the how to proceed with career, life choices. We talk about everything under the sun except for sex, because talking about sex and how your sex experience is what made us feel like we're doing something bad
Yeah.
that we're not supposed to do, that we're a bad human being by doing that.
Yeah.
And because we were actually told that sex is sin, and
Mm.
then no one in my family ever talked about it. I actually had a personal bad experience because of my because of my lack of knowledge about sex, because yeah, I got married to my first boyfriend too.
Mm.
Yeah, and we never consummated our marriage. Like, it was a 9-year relationship, 6 years of it under the marriage umbrella. We never consummated our relationship, and for the first 3-4 years I just thought, okay, this is how things are, right? And it's okay, we'll just get past it. And by that time, that was not the only problem. By the ninth year of our relationship, other things also came through, stalking and all those things. So I just had to call it quits, and I somehow saved my mental health and got rid of it. But me- if I had some level of understanding
Yeah.
about what sex is, and that it's a normal thing and it's a physiological need. You know how they say you have basic need structures, like
Yeah.
what are your needs, then what are your next there's a diagram that says that food, shelter,
Shelter.
sex, all come
Sex.
in the basic physiological needs of a
That's
human
right.
being,
That's
right?
right.
And I wish that's how it was considered, because it could have saved me from a lot of pain.
It's a taboo to
Right,
talk
it's a
about.
taboo. And
And you don't want to know anything about it.
yeah,
You're like, well,
and
if it's that scary,
yeah,
it's going to hurt me.
and
Okay, I don't want to know about it.
yeah, and here is another bad thing about it, that women saying that they enjoy sex is considered not a great person. I don't know how that is mapped automatically to a person. Things are changing. As I'm saying this, I have to
Yeah,
emphasize, things are changing very, very, very slowly, but hopefully,
which is good.
but still it is,
Which is good.
which is good. Then again, just give me 1 second.
There we go.
Yeah.
You got the sound.
Okay. Yeah. So things are changing, but then again, it is not changing fast enough. For instance, the concept of sex, when it's considered a taboo, there are some bad things that come out of it, right? For instance, the latest worst thing that's happening in India that's catching headlines is where a doctor who were after a 72-hour shift was resting in the seminar hall, got supposedly gang raped and mutilated and murdered.
Oh no.
So now the culture of rape, the culture of violence during rape, um, all of that stems from a lack of understanding of what sex
Of
is.
course, sector.
And that is so unfortunate for a country like India, because we centuries ago had a book called Kama Sutra that taught about sex, that sex is not just about penetration. There are so many other things that a person can do to actually enjoy it. Only if it's pleasurable to both the people engaging in it will the outcome be satisfying.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just but then again, we've moved so far past it. I don't know how we moved so far past it to consider it a taboo, to consider it and somehow relate it to violence.
Yeah.
It just
That's
baffles me how we landed here, but unfortunately, here is what we are.
that's very sad.
Yeah, and
Yeah, but it's the same way back home. Again, you can't even look in your parents' eyes to even kind of have a
yeah,
conversation
yeah,
like that with
yeah,
them. They're not
yeah,
telling you anything
yeah,
like that,
yeah,
and nobody's gonna talk to you
yeah,
about sex.
yeah,
The person you get married to is that person gonna teach you how to have
yeah,
sex.
yeah.
He's already enjoyed so many other women, and you're so young and fresh, and then before you look, the next year you're pregnant with babies. Bam, 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 bam. You get them out so quick, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's your life.
Oh yeah. You brought up a good point. You know, the fact about, okay, yes, there are some hormonal changes that happen to both the man and the woman, or both the couple when they're rearing a baby and growing baby up. But then again, there is this, it is happening even in my generation and also generations after me, where is Joey there? Oh, that's okay. He's fine. Uh, we have a new guest. I told you, right? That's why he wants to just get a better view of me.
That's right.
But okay, coming back, right? There is this concept that after you have a baby, your entire purpose is your baby. Sex is not needed to pursue your relationship or marriage or whatever, because the marriage is only about the baby. So people just actually stop having sex altogether after marriage, and their consequently we are already so preoccupied we don't need it. But here is the interesting thing, right? Yes, of course there's bodily changes and all of those things happen, but then again, unless you are an asexual or something along those lines, when you continuously not need sex, it's actually something that is either a physical or a mental thing that's actually happening to you, that you might want to address when you feel that that you don't need it. And
You mean
this
for the
is
women?
women or men, if they continuously feel that they don't, of course I don't want to get into the category of people who are asexual, or there are different types of sexual needs
Yeah,
that
we're
people
just
have.
talking about
We're just
total
talking about
culture.
yeah, we're just talking about people who are heterosexual and who were sexually active, and suddenly they lose an interest. It is important to evaluate if it is a physical or a mental health issue that is resulting in it, if that is the continuous way you're feeling. And that education, we never have it. How did I get so educated about it? Is because of the 9 years I spent without consummating my relationship as a virgin. That's when I read all about this. I understood that, okay, to stand up for myself, and move away from the person who was not willing to even go to the doctor and get himself checked, move away from that person and live my life, and not let another. That's when all of this education kind of happened. I learned it through my pain. That should not be
So
the
you're
way a
paying.
person.
What do you mean you're paying? You're paying for not having sex?
When I say pain, my painful journey I had to go through
Yeah,
because
growing
of
up.
my lack of knowledge
Knowledge
of.
of sex. Yeah.
Yeah, so see, the journey is a result of how much you are open to, right? If this was an open conversation that I could have had with my friends and family, probably spot on within the first month, this would have been caught on,
Yeah.
right? And it would
Yeah.
not have been an enduring journey.
Yeah, but I also find that also interesting when you say in the 9 years because of what you went through and you couldn't consummate, because you didn't know about sex. For me, when I move away from back home, all I've been like dying to know everything about sex, to know what sex, still what
I know that
I mean, like you're so hungry for the knowledge. You so badly want to know because if somebody said you want to know that thing, everyone said it's so great, but they're like, huh?
you want to
don't,
experience
you
it.
don't need to. That's bad for you.
Huh.
Oh, back home you can touch yourself.
Oh,
Like masturbation or whatever, you cannot touch yourself.
Yeah.
Right now, as a grown-up
Same.
woman, I can put my finger in me because I feel like I, this is so bad. This is so wrong. My finger is not supposed to go inside. No, 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 no. Nobody finger go in me. Only my own finger. But the only time that happened, because when you're taking a shower, right? You put your finger in you and clean yourself. So that also was a topic that I was asking girls. I saw them with really long fingernails.
Nails.
And I'm like, damn, how do you clean your cooch? And they're like, what? What are you talking about? I said, but how do you clean yourself? They said, we don't do that.
It self-cleans.
It cleans itself.
Yeah,
I'm like-
that's one place
I'm
that
like, there's
self-cleans.
one thing my mom tell me how to clean myself. She said, when you go shower, you squat down, you pull your finger, you clean inside yourself. So you see how different that is
Everyone
to
is.
everyone,
Everyone.
every culture or what thing.
Everyone, yeah.
It's because that would never clean yourself You have to put your finger in the water. It's not that you're not even thinking about it when you're
Yeah,
doing
when you're
that.
doing it.
It's just like it's just natural to you. You just like squat and then clean yourself. So the girls are like, you were just in there fingering. I said, trust me, I'm not because I don't even think about it. My finger not supposed to go in there at all. So you see how bad that is. Everything is wrong. Anything about sex that you need to know about is wrong.
You had to unlearn and then learn,
Learn.
and you wanted to learn, and you kept wanting to learn more just because you were deprived of all of this
I was
information.
deprived of so much.
You felt that need that you had to learn
Yes,
so much. You
so
had
much.
to compensate for
Yeah.
that time.
And then a friend in Ghana, when I was there, a friend showed me about porn. And
Uh-huh.
she said, "Oh my God,
that's
you are
that's a
missing out. You have to see porn."
but
Everything in
but
Africa is so hidden, right?
yeah, but you
You're
know,
not supposed to know about that.
but here's the thing, right? Porn is such a bad introduction to sex. Here is why what I would say. Okay, so my ex used to watch porn, and he used to be like, oh, I watch porn, so I must be okay. That's one of the reasonings he gave me. And he tried making me watch something. I watched 5 minutes of it, and I was mortified because it had a little bit of violence in it. I'm like, yeah, that's not something I want to see. Here's the thing, right? And then I read about this, and I felt that people who are addicted to porns or who watch porn constantly have such a misconstrued idea about what sex is, that they lead a depressing life for themselves and also their partners as a result. So and unfortunately, many teenagers to this day, and I don't know, years forward, their first introduction to sex might be through porn, which is such a sad state of affairs.
I know it was sad, but I was like,
Oh yeah,
what are they
you
doing?
enjoyed it?
What are they doing?
Did you
But
enjoy
get
it?
this,
What was your feeling?
I was a little bit scared. I said,
Yeah,
oh my God, what is he doing?
exactly.
I see the guy doing this, and then the lady on her back like this,
Yeah.
and then on her knee like a dog. I was like, a dog. So she's a dog, and then he's like,
yeah.
I mean, like all this was
It's
like
just too much.
so
Too much.
much.
Too much.
I'm like, oh my God. But then I see two women together. I said, women doing this to each other. Hi, my God. If my mom was alive right now, she would be killing me. What are you doing?
Watching this
What are
because
you
it's a
watching
taboo, right?
stuff like that?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's so taboo. What are you watching?
Oh my God! Even to this day, I know people who think, having same-sex relationship is a taboo, which is a very unfortunate reality that they have to live through, and I empathize with that today. But having to watch, I would anyone who's watching this, please don't harm yourself by watching porn. You're harming yourself and your partners also. We are not just saying this, okay? There are research papers that say it.
Yeah.
Please save yourselves from that.
Yeah.
Because
this is what we're going through.
Yeah. Watching porn also leads to the rape culture too. So
what?
The rape culture, because porn has some amount of violence and some amount of unrealistic expectations that they put in
everything.
And it just leads to the rape culture.
Well, now
where
all
they're
porn. Some porn, they're like slow, romantic, can get you going. You're like, oh, I didn't know this part of me exists. Oh. Some of it kind of putting it, but I'm not encouraging like porn is the best thing. But sometimes it helps you if you don't know anything about it. It just gives you the knowledge, like for instance, how to get a blowjob.
You learned it through porn?
Through porn, because oh my God, there are people who have a master degree in blowjob.
I hope no one 18 and under is watching this.
It's just what I heard. They have master degree in blowjob, and I have a best friend that even waiting to just teach me how to do it. No. But I saw people doing it. It's like a serious job. I mean, like a serious job. And then there's some men, they have a degree too in going down on women. Like, what's the best way to go down on a woman?
Wait, actually, the Kama Sutras, right? The book of Kama Sutra I was talking about, it actually goes through different things around what would actually give pleasure to both parties, and what are the different things and different ways that you could go through it. And it has a lot of it has a lot of insights. I've not personally read the Kama Sutra, but I follow this person in Instagram called Seema Storyteller.
Okay.
She's actually a sex therapist, plus
I want to
she's
be a sex therapist.
she also educates the cultural aspects of, see, all of this exists, all you need to do is read it, that's all there is, and there's pictorial representations on how to execute it.
And speaking of that, the sex part. So for women who don't have clitoris, and when the man is going down on them, part of it, just speaking from experience, don't think you're not doing a good job, but it's very difficult to get them to where they need to get to.
Oh, okay.
Because it's, I swear, it's you're constantly losing it. Sometimes you will stay on one place.
The pain is coming through. This is the third time she's telling about this.
No, this is serious. Because you will stay on one place, you will look later and then, oh, yeah, you're close. Oh, shh, I lose it. I think right here. And it's not inside, it's right on the top. And you keep losing to direction. Where is I swear. It's so crazy. But thank God they left a little bit of sensation for us to get something out of sex. It's so horrible. I would never do anything like that to my daughter. No. And I don't recommend
think it should be done. I think it's just mutilation.
It's so
that's
bad.
all it is, and I don't even know why anyone would mutilate them.
It's so bad. Can you imagine having a clitoris?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
And
I cannot.
no,
Oh my
actually, if not having the same for me, like men imagine like actual penis being cut. That's how it is, right? That's what it is. It's not just the skin, but the actual penis tip of it being cut. How would you feel, right? Would you be able to live life normally after that, having a wound, constant wound over there? That's what it is, right? Having to live without a clitoris is. That's exactly how it is. It's having a wound in an area that you're supposed to have. It's a body part that is you're getting cut.
So Indian men don't circumcise?
No, it's just the Muslim guys. That's just the skin circumcision is just skin going out.
For men?
For men.
Because in Muslim men, they get circumcised when you're 2 months.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, that
right
same
away.
Muslim guys go through that same thing
in
India too. I knew about it because culture. For instance, my aunt is a Muslim, so and my very very close friends that I have, they're Muslims too. So I'm culturally very familiar with the religious practice. That's why I know circumcision happens in India.
Yeah.
I don't know at what scale it happens. I just know it happens.
For children, very little boys do it, and the girls go through the same.
But girls don't have anything like that in India.
Girls don't do
Girls don't have anything like that.
No, just back home. I don't know.
Yeah, in Africa, I've heard about this.
Everybody lucky.
And apparently WHO is actually starting to push through to ensure that genital mutilation, it's for girls, the circumcision part, there's actually efforts taking place today to stop that from happening.
It's going to be a long time, because at some villages, nobody touches that culture.
Yeah.
It's like, it would be decade for those things to stop, but they can start now. But some people just, that's what it was brought up with, and that's what they're going to seek to, and they're just going to keep doing that.
I mean,
it's very sad, but that's the culture. If you don't know, the saying go, if you don't know, you don't know. There's so much story to tell about me, about Aditi, about our culture, about what we went through, and life in the U.S., just life in general in the U.S. But coming of age in different country, from different countries, always different.
Going to be different.
Different culture, different completely.
Yeah, I mean,
so women.
We talked about India, Africa, China. It's completely different.
Yeah,
Arab countries, it's very completely different.
And some Indian, we have a completely different story.
Because even within India, there are multiple other religions, there are multiple other caste systems. Everyone does it so differently.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to be constantly aware of. That life, learning about life. I think what happened, Yvette?
It's okay. We'll take a break. This episode of tffaw podcast is sponsored by Social Collective Lounge Studio. If you need a dance studio, photography studio, podcast room, or just a space to host your next meeting, Social Collective Lounge Studio has you covered. Located in the northern Phoenix area, rent by the hour or for the whole day. 10% of the proceeds goes directly to our nonprofit organization, tffaw. This episode is also brought to you by Classic Clean. Contact us for all your cleaning needs. 10% of the proceeds goes directly to our nonprofit organization, tffaw, to help grow and strengthen our community. Thank you for listening, and please remember to like and subscribe. Now, let's get back to the episode. We're back on live. That was a break.
Okay. Okay.
So,
I think life across culture is something that you got to keep learning continuously, and we keep adapting and we keep growing.
we do.
There is no right or wrong here. The only wrong thing would be doing something that hurts people intentionally just because under the hood of a religious practice.
Yeah.
Believe me, none of the practices that I mentioned today that India has. There have been thousands of interpretations of it, and those thousands of interpretations have been practiced in 1,000 different ways across years.
Exactly.
It's not how it was years ago. It is
No.
what humans perceive it should be, or it's how humans perceive it they need to be to this day. So
Yeah.
make it in a way that is simple for
Exactly.
both parties involved. That way life is simple, life is happier, both people involved in sex
Can
experience something nice, and we go on with our lives
and enjoy it.
yeah okay
Poor us. But you know what? We will keep finding our way to give us climax.
yes,
That's right. But speaking of all that, I just want to say we are here to listen to your story. We want to tell the story. We want to be heard. We want to experience those different cultural. We want you to be here with us. This is new. We are on this journey. We just want to have a conversation. It's just all about conversation, laughter, and
cultural,
just sharing culture.
yes,
Our different tradition, our different way
something
of
new.
doing things. Because if you don't know, again, that's the saying coming right back. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you understand each and every one cultural, what is like taboo to them, what is their culture known, you will basically understand when people are talking. I've worked with so many different cultural, and sometimes when they're talking to you, you feel like they're mad at you, but they're not mad. They're just so aggressive the way they talk, the way they come out. It feels like, oh my God, what did I do? Is this person talking like this? What's going on? But it's just the way they talk. That's how they connect with people. So everyone culture is so different. So we just want to take the time to bring those people out, bring those different culture out to have a conversation, get to know them, and get to know about where you're from. Even if you're from the U.S., what's going on? We want to hear from you. You're growing up in the U.S., your culture sense, right? I know people think U.S. don't have culture. I'm sure the U.S. have some culture. So what is that?
Oh, no one said US doesn't have culture. Come on, Yvette.
A lot of people say they don't have a culture. They don't.
What they probably mean is that Indian culture and African culture and some of the Asian cultures go centuries back. Where it's recorded and practiced and across ages. Whereas US does have a culture that it has developed, but not as deep. Like the Greek culture. Not as deep as what we have in India, Africa, Greece, or China and all of those other places. But given that, I do agree with you, Yvette. I mean, this is a place where you can understand different cultures and different topics under different cultures.
Yes.
So if there's a topic that interests you,
Yeah,
feel free to go ahead and comment it. If there is a topic that you want to learn more about and you want to talk to us about, feel free to comment and join us.
Done.
Yeah. So how do you find us? YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You know how to find us. You have to type in tffaw podcasts.
Podcast.
That's how you find us. Okay.
That's right.
So I'm very happy to be here at this podcast. Yvette is going to be taking care of most of the podcasts in this series and season.
That's
So
right.
feel free to message. Feel free to comment. Get your. We want you more and more involved in,
Involved.
and that's what we're looking forward. Getting to know you as you get to know us.
As you get to know us in the
Yay.
community, and we are a community-based organization. We're all here for you. This community is just starting up, and it's going to grow in Arizona, and we are going to change lives and create businesses and create jobs. So we want your support. We want you to be part of this community. So let's get together and do something amazing. Let's grow together. Look at this. We're still friends forever. So I want to meet you. We meet. We create magic. What do you think about that? I know you like it.
And that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Woo! Like that. Woo, 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 woo. Mwah. Love you. Come soon.
Okay.
Now you're gonna do some picture for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be a good intro. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. And we have enough for 2 podcasts. I feel I tried to wrap it for you, and then you went over there. I was like, okay, that'll be a different podcast.
Yeah.
Keep talking. It's fine.
Let's suck it up. When it's in there, just get it out.